5 kitchen gadgets get ranked today, and the one that ends up at number 1 is not the one you'd guess from star ratings alone. Between these 5 products, Amazon shoppers have left over 300,000 ratings combined. That's not marketing copy. That's hundreds of thousands of real kitchens deciding whether something earned a permanent spot on the counter or got shoved in a drawer. By the end, you'll know which gadget fits your kitchen and which one only looks good in the photos. And there's one small detail buried in a single listing that actually flips the order you'd expect. Here's what's strange. The most reviewed product on this list is not the highest rated one. Once you see why, the gap between popular and genuinely great gets a lot clearer. I also pulled independent coverage on all 5, not just what the listing pages claim, so you're getting more than a highlight reel. One quick note before we start. A few of the links in the description are affiliate links, so I may earn a small commission if you use one at no extra cost to you. Now let's get into it. Kitchen gadgets covers a huge range, but the 5 here all do the same basic job. They take something that used to mean a pot, a pan, or 10 minutes standing over a stove, and they shrink it down to one button. That's the test every entry on this list has to pass. For each one, I'm covering what it actually does, what real buyers say after living with it, and where it genuinely fits your kitchen. Not just a spec sheet with a check mark next to it. I also picked 5 genuinely different jobs on purpose, not 5 versions of the same appliance. The real question isn't which brand is best, it's which of these actually earns counter space in your kitchen. One more thing before the countdown starts. Every product here has been independently reviewed by real owners, some for years, and that's different evidence than a brand's own product page. A listing can say almost anything. 100,000 people living with something day to day is much harder to fake. Number 5 is the Cosori Electric Kettle. It's a 1.7 liter kettle built with no plastic touching the water at any point. That matters if you've ever noticed that plasticky taste from a cheap kettle. It heats 2 cups in under 3 minutes, faster than most stovetop kettles manage. The wide mouth makes it easy to fill and actually clean, instead of fishing a sponge down a narrow spout. There's a dual angle lid too. One touch opens it just enough to pour without splashing, and a second press swings it fully open for filling or cleaning. The spout and handle stay cool and pour accurately, so you're not white-knuckling a hot handle over the sink. It shuts off automatically within 30 seconds of boiling. Boil-dry protection is built in too, so leaving water out of it by accident won't damage the unit. A small blue LED glows while it's heating, so you can tell at a glance it's working. Independent coverage backs up the fast boil time and the no plastic design, though a few reviewers mention the lid takes some getting used to. That's a fair trade for a kettle that boils fast, handles tea, coffee and quick meals alike, and skips the plastic aftertaste. It's the simplest, most affordable way onto this list. Number 4 is the Crock-Pot 7-quart manual slow cooker. This is the one for anyone who wants dinner ready without babysitting it. 7 quarts is enough for a big roast or a full pot of chili. You get high, low, and warm settings, nothing more complicated than a dial. The stoneware insert and lid go straight in the dishwasher. The insert itself can go in the oven up to 400 degrees, so it doubles as bakeware when you're not slow cooking. The whole appeal is set it and forget it. That's exactly what buyers report. Slow, even cooking with almost nothing that can break, because there's no digital panel to fail. Fewer parts means less to clean and fewer things that go wrong down the line. And running an oven for hours costs more than letting this sit on low all day. If your kitchen doesn't have a slow cooker yet, this is the no-frills way to get one that just works. Number 3 is the Ninja Fit Compact Personal Blender, 700 watts in a base small enough to fit on any counter, and it crushes ice and frozen fruit properly, not just chops it into slush. It comes with 2 16-ounce cups and 2 spout lids. Blend straight in the cup, snap on the lid and walk out the door with it. That's the whole point if your mornings move fast. everything that touches food is BPA free and dishwasher safe on the top rack, so cleanup is not the reason it ends up back in the cupboard. Independent testing backs up the ice crushing claim specifically, calling out smooth protein shakes even after heavy use. It's not trying to be a full countertop blender for soups and dips, and it doesn't need to be. For a single-serve smoothie machine that's actually small enough to store, this earns its spot easily. Number 2 is the Dash Rapid Egg Cooker, and this is where that reviews gap I mentioned earlier shows up. It has the most ratings of anything on this list, well over 100,000, more than double the next closest product here. One machine cooks hard-boiled eggs, soft-boiled eggs, poached eggs, scrambled eggs, and individual omelets. A built-in thermal sensor reads doneness, instead of you guessing with a timer and pulling eggs out too early or too late. That solves the one thing almost everyone gets wrong on the stovetop. Eggs that are chalky in the middle, or impossible to peel without tearing half the white off. The pieces store inside the base, so it doesn't eat up cabinet space, and the non-electric parts go in the dishwasher. Reviewers consistently point to the same two things: eggs that peel cleanly almost every time, and a machine that does exactly what the box says with basically no learning curve. That mix of a low barrier to entry, real simplicity, and a near 6-figure review count is why it lands this high, just one spot short of the top. And that brings us to number 1, the Cosori TurboBlaze Air Fryer, and here's that detail I mentioned at the start. Every other product on this list carries a slightly lower star rating than this one. Once you look at what's actually inside it, that's not a coincidence. It runs a turbofan system at up to 450 degrees with 5 fan speeds. Thinner and thicker foods both cook evenly, instead of one coming out overdone while the other burns. The basket uses a ceramic coating that's free of the forever chemical group known as PFAS, worth knowing if you've been trying to avoid that in cookware. It's also built to hold up to daily use, rather than flaking after a few months. Cosori had the oil content lab tested, and it comes in at up to 95% less oil than deep frying for the same crispy result. It also runs under 53 decibels on its highest setting, so it skips the loud kitchen appliance struggle you might expect. There's an optional preheat step for anyone who wants restaurant-style results, or you can skip it and just cook. It even ships with a recipe booklet built by in-house chefs and dietitians, not a generic insert. The 6-quart square basket is wide and deep enough for a full family meal, without the appliance itself eating your counter. Independent air fryer reviewers echo the same thing Amazon's rating shows. One of the strongest air fryers at this price point, full stop. It's the most versatile gadget on this list, useful for something almost every day, and that's exactly why it takes the top spot. So there's the list. The kettle and the slow cooker are the specialists, great at exactly one job and worth having for exactly that reason. The blender and the egg cooker are the daily use workhorses people end up depending on more than they expected, and the air fryer at number 1 earns it by being genuinely useful for more meals than any single purpose gadget could be. That's exactly why it edges out something with more total reviews behind it. I've put links to all 5 in the description, and again, some of those are affiliate links, so I get a small commission if you use them, at no extra cost to you. Which one of these is already in your kitchen, and which one are you adding next? Let me know in the comments.